Hello there, it's me, Jackie, and welcome to the third week of your Excel workshops. Last week we finished up the budget sheet and went through the pre-proposals meeting with a few helpful tips and tricks. This week we're looking at the finance sheet, how to manage your budget throughout the process and how to do it bit by bit so when it comes to the post-show you don't have to scramble everything together at the last minute. This week's is the hardest yet, as we're going to be looking at all the formulas of the finance sheet, so get ready, let's go! Now, if we look at the finance sheet, you can see that all of the budget numbers are automatically put into the finance sheet from the budget. And if we look at the formula in the cell, we can see that the budget exclamation mark is telling the formula to look on the sheet called budget, and then at the cell that's written next to it. So for the venue hire, it's looking at F11. And if we go look back at the other sheet of what's at F11, we can see that it's the venue hire. This is continued with all of the other budget numbers. Now, let's look at putting in your expenses. Helpfully, some of the expenditure section has already been filled out for you, showing how the section should be filled out. For stop, we had no van hire or payment to Lancaster Arts that had to be made, so let's take out these two sections. Our lights and sound cost £60, so if we put that in the amount section, see how the lights and sound section in the actual column has now changed to show what we spent. And if you look at the expenditure by person section, here you can see that LUTG has now spent £60. Your hire costs should go straight to the society, so there shouldn't be anyone to pay back, but talk to your safety and equipment officers about how to hire equipment/staging from the student union. Just to quickly explain how the finance sheet calculates the number, let's look at the formula in column K. If we look in this cell, we can see the SUMIF function that appears quite a lot through the finance and ticketing sheets. With the SUMIF function, in the brackets, the first section is where you should look for the word that you want to add up. Then, after the comma is the word you want the computer to look for in this section. See how here it is selected this cell, which is LUTG. Then, the final part after the second comma is what you want the computer to add up. Let's show this better by next adding what I paid for in stop, which was right. So I'm going to start by adding the date I paid this, to the date that's on the receipt of the payment of the rights, not the date you got the rights approved. Then, the name you're going to use, so I'm simply going to use Jackie. Then, telling what the receipt bought. This is important for set props and costumes, so then it's easier for you to explain what was bought and why to the GenSec at the post-show to prevent unnecessary purchases. Then, write who the money was paid for, so it could be a shop, Lusu, or in this case, the rights company Samuel French. Then we get to the category. Make sure you spell the section the same it is in the expenditure review section, or use the drop-down menu that appears when you click any of these cells to make sure you get the spelling correct. Also, be aware of capital letters, as if I try to write the word right but with no capital letter, like this, it will tell me that the data is invalid, as it does not match any of the words in the category section of the expenditure review. Next, put in the amount that you spent. That should be on the receipt. Now, when you click the Enter key, the rights amount should be put in the expenditure review. And if you want to see the rolling total of how much needs to be paid per person, you can put their name in the expenditure by person, and we can see that I now need to be paid back this amount. If this is not appearing, check the spelling. That is usually where the problems lie. I know that all of these steps seem tedious, but if you keep up with inputting each receipt as you go along during the process, it will save buckets of time at your post-show meeting, and it will save you having to chase down receipts from all of the production team. My top tip is to make sure that you have photographic evidence of each receipt as each item is bought. It will make sure that in your post-show all the information is ready to go and in your hands. My top tip is to make sure that you have photographic evidence of each receipt as each item is bought, which will make sure that in your post-show all the information is ready to go and with you, because at the end of the day, you're the one who's in charge of the finances. Keep going with inputting all of the receipts you have. So I'm now going to put in all of Fiamma, the stage manager's, payments into the finance sheet. Fiamma did a lot of shopping in charity shops for the show, so when filling in the finance sheet, I gathered all of the receipts with her and inputted them into the sheet, asking what each of them were for. This shows why putting in receipts as you go is very useful, as most of the charity shop's receipts will not show what was bought, just the section of the charity store it came from. Here, we made sure we knew exactly what each payment was for, just to save all the time we could at our post-show. There's a lot of payments, so I'm going to speed through them until they're all put in there. Keeping a log of all these receipts as they come in means we can keep a real-time idea of how our budget is going through the show. And at the budget meetings you will have with the GenSec throughout your show's process, you can keep them updated with how much you are spending and how much you still can spend. The final part of the finance sheet should come after the show, and it is the income section. This section is very simple, and it will help you count up your money after the show. Simply put in the number of notes and coins you have in the appropriate sections. This will make the count up simpler in the post-show rather than just coming with an income figure without knowing where it's come from. A lot of this video and the finance sheet is to make your life easier. I know the finance sheet can seem very complicated, so I'm hoping this video showing you how all these cells are calculated means you understand more how the finance sheet works. If you are still struggling with the sheet, contact your friendly neighbourhood GenSec for any help that you need. At the end of the day, your GenSec is here to help. So if you still find the sheet complicated, please make sure you ask them, because they will be happy to help you with it. Next week, we're going to be looking at the ticketing sheets. It shouldn't be too long a video because it's pretty simple. Again, it's all down to spelling. I hope you guys have enjoyed this week and you've understood all of it. Again, anything you don't understand, please drop the LUTG page a message or comment on this video, and I'll be sure to try and get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks guys, see you next week.